Hello everybody and welcome back to FPL Link. My name is Dan and I'm here to bring you another FPL video, and in this one we're going to be jumping into day 3 of those all-important player price reveals from the official FPL Twitter page. But before we do that, I just want to give a brief and quick shout out to FPL Focal. Oscar's been kind enough to recommend my channel to, I believe, some of his community, and a few people in the last video came from there and commented, and some real positive vibes coming from you guys, so really appreciate that support. If you are new, I highly recommend checking out Oscar at FPL Focal. He was actually ranked #1 for a substantial amount of last season, at least in the early half, I believe. Puts out some really good content, and yeah, definitely one to subscribe to and watch if you find my channel by chance before his, so do check him out. But yeah, let's jump straight into the main content. We've got Chelsea up first for the reveal, with Mason Mount coming at 8 million, no surprises there. Reece James at 6 and Chilwell at 6 as well, interestingly. I think Reece James maybe was anticipated to be going to be a little bit more expensive than that, but both of them at 6 million, that's an interesting possibility of a double up right there. We'll have to see how much, again, the 5 substitution rule comes into play for wing-back system teams, because, you know, with the Champions League, FA Cup, all sorts of trophies now, being contended by these teams, and being quite heavily reliant on these wing backs, putting in the shifts essentially. We may start seeing them being substituted earlier. I mean, we'd hope from an FPL standpoint they at least reach the 60-minute mark. If they did that and then, you know, they got the clean sheet points, I don't think really it matters so much. Of course, from an attacking potential, it means we've got less chances of returns, but I think, yeah, potentially a double up could be a possibility for these two at some point. Mendy coming in actually at only 5 million, very good price, I think there. Would I consider him? Maybe. I mean, yesterday I spoke about Jose Sarr, of course, coming in at 5 and his save percentage being the highest out of the Premier League goalkeepers. Mendy, I don't think, was too far down on that list either. He definitely has shown his ability, but at 5 million, I think I'd possibly try to stretch if I wanted to cover the Chelsea defence into Reece James or Chilwell. Kai Havertz, one there to mention as well, being recategorised from the midfield position into a forward position. Don't think, again, there's going to be much surprise there for the community. I think, generally speaking, he played as that number 9 for Tuchel in Lukaku's absence of form, really, and Werner, he had his on and off moments, as he's done since he joined Chelsea a few seasons ago. That's no real surprise, I don't think. An 8 million, interesting price, but maybe not one that we need to be considering just yet. So moving into West Ham next. Bowen up first at 8.5 million. I think most people were anticipating 8 million. 8.5 though, I mean, that's West Ham haven't got the best run of fixtures either, so I don't think we'll be seeing him in many drafts. And 8.5, that's that's a little bit higher than most expected, I think, but probably justified based on the returns he put in. Antonio there at 7.5. Aguerd, not sure how to pronounce that, so apologies if I absolutely trashed that name, West Ham fans, but yeah, not sure what he's capable of. Creswell coming in at 5. Soufal actually being 4.5 million. I don't know if that's down to the fact that he'd got injured last season, and then Johnson was playing in that position, I believe, for them for a little while. So I wonder if the game has just factored that into his pricing, but he's potentially one to watch. I do like Creswell at 5 as well. I think as a potential fourth defender option. Once you put in free sort of premium priced ones, 5 million maybe a good marker. 5.5 for Souček and 6 for Benrahma. Possibilities, I guess, but again, West Ham fixtures really for definitely the game weeks 1 to 5 in terms of early planning. I don't think we'd maybe consider them straight away. Next up, Newcastle. So Saint Maximin kicking it off with the £6.5 million mark there. Bruno Guimaraes at 6 million, definitely one I would consider, and Wilson at 7.5. Nick Pope, of course, making that transfer and coming in at 5 million. Again, maybe something that's really depends on fixture swings or fixture runs, because I think they're very close to the bottom of the fixture ticker. Kieran Trippier, of course, again, £5 million mark, same as Matty Cash. same as Creswell. Could be some potential for rotation there if we think we should be swapping that in. I think Joe Linton, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was listed as a forward last season, so he's been recategorised to that deeper midfielder role. Willock actually coming in a lot cheaper at 5 million. Not really sure about him. He could be one to watch again if form dictates that we think about him. He's definitely showcased in previous seasons that he's capable of putting out some big numbers. So we'll have to watch him there. Chris Wood, 6 million. Yeah, I'm not so sure really about those budget options yet for strikers. I really need to get into that drafting phase, I guess, before we discuss those. Moving into then Southampton next. So Ward-Prowse at 6.5 million. Walker-Peters 4.5, very good. Adams at 6.5, yeah, no surprises there, I don't think. I think with Ward-Prowse, in terms of how prolific he was with those direct free kicks last season, 6.5, it's that, again, that between the 5.5 to 6.5 mark. If we can find budget for midfielders in that bracket, and we're swapping those around rather than our premiums to begin with, you could easily argue that a Neto into a Ward-Prowse at some point could be an option once Southampton's fixtures get a little bit better. If we're looking at that sort of advanced planning from, let's say, game week 5 onwards and so on. But he's definitely got the potential. So one to consider. Walker-Peters didn't feature as much last season, but 4.5 million, I think that's fair enough. Che Adams 6.5. Again, I really need to get into that draft phase before we start discussing those forward options, really. I think from other people's drafts I've seen so far, 5.5 to 6 million is kind of that stretch. 6.5 might be a bit too far to go. And again, Southampton's fixtures don't really offer much to get too excited over. Anything else to mention really here? So Romeo potentially could be a playing bench option. Salisu 4.5. Pretty much all their defenders then are coming in at 4.5 million. Bazunu, I'm not even sure if he's a second keeper or if he's going to be first choice this season over MacArthur. Again, apologies Southampton fans, not sure if he's new or what he's going to bring into the side, or if he makes that starting 11. But again, could be one to think about if he puts in those performances. And finally, Bournemouth. So Solanke coming in at 6 million. 4.5 million for the keeper. Zamora, defender, 4.5 million. Okay, so Fredericks has signed for Bournemouth, 4.5 million. Billing coming in at 5.5 there. Kiefer Moore at 5.5. I mean, he definitely could be an option, I guess. I mean, he can clearly score goals. He's got one in him. Whether he does that in the Premier League, of course, is another question, I guess. But 5.5 million, if we were looking at that Undav price point, Kiefer Moore now at 5.5, they could be potential options. Bournemouth, I think, are literally the bottom of the fixture ticker, though. So, unfortunately, again, apologies to any Bournemouth fans watching, but maybe not players that we should consider at the beginning. That's not to say, though, again, of course, that any fixture swings, any form dictation, then for sure we can think about these players. Very excited for the game to actually be launching. As far as I can tell, it's 5 teams per day. So we're on the last day tomorrow with that final player price reveal of the remaining 5 teams. Then I wouldn't be surprised really if we're looking at a game launch after a few days beyond that, really. Possibly Tuesday at its earliest. That'd be fantastic, really. I'd love to be able to get it back onto the official page and start tinkering, really. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. So again, big shout out to FPL Focal for sending any of the viewers of this particular video and the previous video as well. It's ace to see so many of you subscribe to the channel and really again appreciate that early support from you guys. Again, hoping to create some more pre-season content and looking forward to that all-important game release to keep it pumping through the season. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.